Going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson back with the latest and greatest from the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about the Washington Commanders. It is now Tuesday, September 6th, and it is week one of the NFL season. NFL kickoff season is now here, and it's our first game preview of the season. I'm bringing over my guy, UCF Jaguar, who is the best in the business on the Jacksonville side of things on the YouTube world. Before we get to it, let's pay the bills. This episode is brought to you by @WSH on the Daily on Instagram, your number one news and source hub. Everything Washington Commanders on Instagram, @WSH on the Daily, and BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. If you're going to get your Calvin Ridley Parlay Poppy on, get it on with BetUS Sportsbook and Casino using my unique link in the description below. Now let's bring on our guests and let's talk some week one football. UCF Jaguar, my guy, welcome to the show.
What's up, bro? I'm glad to be here. Excited that we are finally here in football season. I guess we're not here yet. We're still 5 days away. And these next 5 days, I hate to say it, they're going to go by extremely slow. But we're within a week, so it's going to be fun.
We at least have football to watch on Thursday, and that should speed up and expedite the process of us getting to game time. But, man, I'm excited. I'm happy to have you on the show. Jacksonville Jaguars, tell me about your fan story, how long you've been a fan, and what got you into the content creator sphere before we get into the nitty-gritty of the football stuff.
Yeah, man. So my fan story is the boringest story ever. I was raised in Jacksonville, so it was a local team, so I naturally became a Jaguars fan. Just was a huge fan all my life. And then, when I moved over to Orlando to go to UCF, I was a big Jaguar fan around. And then after I graduated UCF, I had a lot of free time on my hands. So I said, why don't I just, start recording videos about the Jaguars? And then I've been doing it for like 5 years now, days turn into weeks and then weeks turn into months. And then now I look back and it's like, man, it's been like 5.5 years. So it's a lot of fun. I like doing it. It's nice nowadays in 2022 where you can really have your own platform. All you need nowadays is just a phone, man. So if anyone ever wants to get into, what we do, you don't need the fancy microphone, the camera. All you need is the phone, and you got yourself a platform. So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It's a digital space we live in now, but as you can see, as you go, you can upgrade your stuff along the way. Just start it. Look at my guy. My guy got the mood lighting going on, got the fancy backdrop. You love to see it, but I would like to know, because we can relate in terms of not seeing much relative success in our time as fans of our opposing team. You at least got to see an AFC championship. What was that year like?
Dude, the last 10 years, I think actually the last like 12 years, it's been all double-digit loss seasons besides that random year where the Jags went to the AFC Championship game. It was such a weird year. It was such a fun year. At least I have a taste of success and what success is like, because it was like so much fun. I know, when you go through losing like our franchises have the last several years, it's going to make winning so much better. A lot of people get annoyed by bandwagons. Look, if there's bandwagons out there, just know that the people who didn't endure all the losing, they're not going to enjoy it as much when your team actually starts winning. So, it was fun. I just hope to get back to some winning ways, because I'm tired of being my most excited in April when we have a top 5 draft pick. You know what I mean?
Facts. I know exactly what you mean, and just like I like to envy y'all for the most part, though, because at least you guys, for the most part, get to have bad seasons in peace. Like, we manage to be bad and still take over headlines and make national news every year because of who our owner is. Not saying you guys' owner is off the hook. Khan, your GM, Balky, I mean, they make the news sometime, but at least y'all get to lose in peace. You know what I'm saying?
Well, our idiot was Urban Meyer, and we got to fire him. You can't fire your owner, unfortunately. so yeah, the owner kind of has to hang around for a bit.
Oh yeah, I try to tell our fans all the time, Danny Boy is here for life, and that was a perfect segue into what we're going to start with. The 2021 Jaguars, 3-14. Lawrence didn't get to have the rookie year we wanted to see him have, but we can almost throw away his rookie year because of one man. Urban Meyer came through and led an absolute shit show of a display of a head coach in his 1 year in Jacksonville. Take me through what that was like, and was it as bad as the national media let it on to be?
It was really, really bad. And the things that didn't make the national media were like there was a circumstance where Urban Meyer got asked about a player and said, "Oh, this safety, his name was Andre Sisco. Like, hey, like, how's he been doing?
Syracuse.
You know, is he getting on the field more?" He goes, "Oh yeah, he's doing good, and he's getting more reps on the field and all that stuff." And he literally had 0 snaps that game. The guy had no idea what was going on. The offense was terrible. I think he got to some point where he said, "All right, you know what? I can't win with this team. I'm just going to give up." And he was out of the building at 5 o'clock, turned off his phone so no one could call him. He was easily the worst head coach in NFL history in my eyes. And, you know, there's a silver lining with it because, like, when you hire a head coach, you either want them to be like really, really good or really, really bad. Because if they're like in the middle, it turns into like a Matt Nagy situation where, like,
Facts.
okay, like they hang around too long and then they, you know, you waste like 3 or 4 years with a bad coach. But with Urban Meyer, it was just terrible. Luckily, it was only 1 year, and the roster was also just terrible last year. I mean, like I think 75 to 80% of Trevor Lawrence's targets were going to like Laquan Treadwell, like
Lord.
Taven Austin, Laviska Shenault. Dude, it was bad, the receiving game. So they revamped a lot of stuff, spent a lot of money in free agency. And as you know, Doug Peterson's a good coach. You know, he's a true adult. He's a professional. So we have him in the building. So, you know, at the very least, you can debate a lot of stuff, but we know that we got a significant upgrade at head coach going into 2022.
Hell yeah, and that's what we're about to get into in just a second. But I just couldn't believe it. Like, it was, to me, it was kind of refreshing to hear that type of drama coming from another camp and coming from another franchise. We're a month into the season. He's not flying back with the team. Y'all played the Rams. I heard he didn't know who Aaron Donald was. I heard Trevor had to beg him to put the running back into the game. Like the memes and the pictures with the girl. It was like it was something. It's like you knew right away it was an absolute train wreck. And I'm sorry you had to deal with that. I've had to deal with that type of thing for the majority of my Washington fanhood. But like you said, you have an adult in the building now. Doug Peterson, new coaching staff, same guys at the top with the owner in the GM spot. But you guys spent a league record $175 million in free agency, $12 million more than the Patriots record set a year before. What is the outlook going into the 2022 season from the Jacksonville fans' perspective?
I mean, I know right now the Vegas over-under is 6.5, and I think that's probably about right. I know for me, in order for me to be happy with the Jaguar season, we had to go at least 7-10. You know, I don't want anything like worse than that. I'm hoping like maybe 8-9 or like even 9-8, because right now the Jaguars, we're in a lot different situation if we switch place with the Jets, because the Jets, you know who they have in their division? They have the Bills, they have the Dolphins, they have the Patriots. They have no chance. You know, the Jaguars, if you're looking at it from a optimistic standpoint, we can sit here and say like the Titans aren't that great. Like the Colts aren't that, you know, they all have quarterback issues. I mean, at the end of the year, Trevor Lawrence could easily be the best quarterback in the AFC South. And I know I look at stuff and I just, you know, want to, like, my primary thing that I want in 2022, and these are such low standards or expectations, is this: I want to be in the playoff hunt in December. There's far too times where November and December get here and we're playing like worthless, meaningless games. You know, I just
looking
want
forward
the
to the draft.
Relevant the whole year. Yeah, you look forward to the draft. You start getting into that situation where it's like, okay, do I root for us to win or do I want to lose for draft position? It's like that's like the worst situation to be in when it's like Thanksgiving and you're thinking about that. So
It's the worst.
That's my thing.
As a football fan, it just makes you so sad when you're watching all this meaningful football being played and you have no part in it, and you're just kind of just there, like, we're draft positioning, like, oh, let's get the first pick again. At least you guys have got to see what the first pick is like, and you got one of the more revered and promising prospects of the last 20 years, outside of maybe Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. I cannot think of someone who was penciled in as the number 1 overall pick since he was like 15 years old. Trevor Lawrence going into year 2. What did you see out of him in his rookie year? And so far during this second year off season, what are some of the differences you've seen with a new grown adult staff underway now?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Trevor Lawrence is he has the goods, man. I mean, he can make all the throws. He has
Hell
the
yeah.
right head on his shoulders. Like, he's a really good leader. It's just last year he was in a position where like literally the wide receiver route concepts were terrible. I mean, and nobody was getting open. This year in a preseason, you're seeing like, Doug Peterson and Taylor draw up routes where, the receivers aren't doing anything crazy, but they're getting wide open because they're scheming things up right. And Trevor Lawrence has kind of been able to find them. You have an actual offensive scheme in place that wasn't set by Urban Meyer. I mean, it's just night and day what the team has now. And now we have a bunch of new toys out there. Christian Kirk, who we brought in, a lot of people thought that, oh my God, he's like so overpriced. But then you go out there and like now he's not even like, I think he's like the 16th or 17th highest paid receiver in the NFL right now.
Yep.
Like it's not, now that AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, now that all these other guys got their contracts, now it's kind of pushing him down a bit. You bring in like Evan Ingram, Zay Jones. I mean, and you also add in Travis Etienne, who wasn't around last year
Huge
because of injury. So there's a lot of new toys out there for Trevor Lawrence. Like really the thing with the Jaguars is, it feels like if 2023 were a year that the Jaguars could possibly make a playoff run, the nucleus of the team is here right now. It's just all about, can the team rush to maturation where, these young pieces and these new pieces through free agency, can they all work together? Can they all be a, working unit? And can they actually start to win some games? And, I'm hoping we can just kind of be around the 500 mark, up until like December. It's just right now the Jaguars, really the starting offensive defense, I think, is actually pretty good. Our issue is like if we start getting injured, our depth is terrible. Our depth is not very good. So, we might be able to sustain an injury here, an injury there, but once we start losing 3, 4, 5 starters, we're done. So it's all about, can the Jaguars stay healthy? We'll just have to see.
Oh yeah, I definitely know what you mean on the depth side of things, but yeah, man, it's Trevor Lawrence year 2. I'm excited to see what he can do every other week except this week, because Trevor Lawrence is one of my favorite prospects to come out in a long time. And I'm looking around at some of these predictions for this game this week, and a lot of people have you guys winning. Do you feel like y'all should be a favorite in this game on Sunday?
I don't know, man. I feel like it should be a push. I mean, the thing with the Jaguars is last year they were 3-14. But they were a better roster than 3-14 because like you win 3 games with Urban Meyer as head coach. I mean, you got to think, if you keep that same roster and you put Trevor Lawrence in his second year, and then you have Doug Peterson coaching that team, you got to think their team is at least 2 or 3 wins better than 3-14. But this one's tough because I know if you're a Washington fan, Commanders are going to win. If you're a Jaguar fan, the Jaguars are going to win. And I do really like this matchup because I do think that both teams, I think they're pretty evenly matched. I mean, I know, there's some strengths and, like the Washington has a lot better receivers, but the Jaguars may be able to edge them out. And, I don't know, maybe the linebacker course. I don't know. I don't know what
definitely the linebacker core, because our linebacker core consists of Jamin Davis, who's still a question mark in year 2 after we took him with the 19th pick, and Cole Holcomb and John Bostic. I would definitely say y'all edge up out with the moves y'all made this offseason. Y'all bring in Foye Oluokun, who had like 200 tackles last year. You go out and get Devin Lloyd in the first round, and you got my favorite Mike backer in the draft, Chad Muma, later in the draft. Linebacker core is definitely something I say y'all have an advantage in. How have they looked so far? How are they gelling with the new regime?
I mean, so far it's kind of stunk because Devin Lloyd, who the Jaguars traded up for in the first round of the 2022 NFL draft, he tweaked his hamstring before training camp started. So he was only able to play in game 3 of the preseason. But he is starting on the depth chart. I know the Jaguars' new defensive coordinator, he comes over from the Todd Bowles system, and they like to use their linebackers doing all different kinds of stuff. It's a complicated defense. So I don't know if he's going to be necessarily starting or if they're going to let Chad Muma take those duties. But I like this matchup, man. I think, both teams have a good shot at winning. If the Jaguars were going into this weekend playing the Rams, I'd be like, okay, we'll look forward to week 2 because I know we ain't beating the Rams. But, I think both these teams are both, I think they're both trying to take that next step. And, each team has its flaws, but both teams definitely have their strengths. So it's all about, I think a lot of it's about coaching. I mean, who's better coached, who's more prepared going into this game. Both teams have proven head coaches. Both coaches have been to the Super Bowl under different teams. So, really football games is all about what the team does from Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday, it's just you kind of see what kind of work they put in those days. And the team that's more prepared generally wins.
Hey, I see you, Asia. Shout out to Asia Robertson in the chat, but I definitely didn't miss you, Asia. But you have a familiar face, a guy we are very accustomed to who just joined your roster, a guy who had a contract situation that definitely flamed out and he was ready for a fresh start. Brandon Sheriff, right guard. How is he adjusting and what are the expectations for him? He's very polarizing here in the fan base. You either love him or you kind of got sick of him because the guy, when he's on the field, he's really, really good, but his availability over the years has wavered. And sometimes it felt like when he was out there, he was just getting penalties, or he had his all-pro season, which I won't take for granted because we've had like one all-pro in my lifetime, and that's Brandon Sheriff. But how is he fitting in with the Jags, and what are the expectations for him protecting 16?
Yeah, it's funny when you look at his game log because it's like he'll miss like 5 games this season, 6 games that season. So he's like playing most of the season, but he's not, playing the full season, which is always like really annoying. But I mean, he looks like he's fitting in good. I know in the preseason he was just kind of mauling people, but I think he's one of those guys that look when he's on the field, he's going to be a pretty good player. But it's just all about availability. The Jaguars just had a center that they drafted with Brandon Linder. They drafted him in 2014. He just retired this offseason, and he was the same way. He was just always getting injured, and it was all about the backup was getting all this play. And I don't know, sometimes these guys need a fresh start. I don't know if it's who knows. I mean, I think he's a good player, but I haven't, hopefully he doesn't get the holding calls like you were talking about. I never realized that was kind of an issue, but
you'll see. You're gonna see.
Yeah, I mean, Jaguars needed help at the offensive line, and Brandon Sheriff, they paid up for him. I'll just say that.
Hey, someone asked, "Are you the creator that says Stand United and uses the Jags ground sound effect often?"
I don't think I've ever said those words in my life, but
that is hilarious. But going to some advantages, we can start at the most important position. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have different answers, but similar in why we choose them. Starting at the quarterback position, who do you think has the advantage Sunday? Trevor Lawrence coming into his sophomore season, or Carson Wentz coming into his first game in a revenge game of sort, because y'all were the ones who spoiled his postseason entrance when his final game as an Indianapolis Colt? Would you give Lawrence the advantage on Sunday?
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not a huge Carson Wentz guy. I remember because I have some friends that are Colts fans, and I remember when they acquired him, I was just kind of like laughing at them, and they were like, "No, he's good. It's the Eagles that did him wrong." And then I'm like, watch out! Like I bet the Jaguars beat him, and they wound up beating him like to knock them out of the playoffs when everybody thought that he was going to, that the Jaguars are going to lose because last year record wise. But with Carson Wentz, I mean, he's he's intriguing because he's so big, he's got a strong arm, he can like really make all the throws. It's just all about the intangible stuff, like can he take the team to the next level? If he needs to bail a team out, like can he bail a team out? And of course he had the MVP caliber season in 2017, but it's all about can they get the best of him. I know he hasn't had really the receiving threats that he's had for Washington when you throw out guys like McLaurin, and now they got Jahan Dotson in the draft. So there's a lot that's kind of working for him. But
dare I say Curtis Samuel? He's going to actually play this year.
Oh, I forgot about Curtis Samuel.
I know.
Man, he was out the last 2 years, right?
Yeah, well, he was out last year for like the whole season, pretty much dealing with some grueling growing injuries. No, his year before that, he balled out in Carolina. That's why he was able to get the contract here. But you'd forget he existed because he was on the Ashburn cycling team on the side field the entire season last year. And him and Carson already have a good rapport. So I would just say Carson has the advantage because I like our receiving core over you guys' secondary more so than you guys receiving core versus our secondary, which aren't world beaters. We also have no depth at the position, but I think I'm a rock with William Jackson, Kendall Fuller, and St. Juice with Bobby McCain and Cam Curl over what you guys got. Darius Williams and Shaquille Griffin starting at corner.
Yeah, we have Darius Williams, Shaquille Griffin, and we have Tyson Campbell, who's a second-year guy. So I don't know. I mean, Tyson Campbell, like he really does have like all-pro potential. It's because he's lengthy, he's fast, he's a really physical guy. But I don't know. There's so many unknowns with the Jaguars right now. It's really hard to project them. But yeah, I guess if it's Trevor Lawrence versus Carson Wentz, I mean, I would probably take Trevor Lawrence. I think there's a little less pressure on Trevor Lawrence, like right now. With Carson Wentz on his now third team, he just lost to the Jaguars his last game. I don't know, right now I don't feel like there's a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson to go out here necessarily, do amazing stuff this year. So I don't know. Like we'll be able to tell this game.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. The pressure is definitely a great point because there's no pressure going to be on Trevor Lawrence anytime soon. He's the franchise. He's guaranteed to be the franchise until proven otherwise. And Carson, like you said, is in his third destination in 3 years. But I'm just going to rock with my guy off the strength of our weapons versus the weapons you guys have at the moment. Channel member Asia says, what's up, the UCF Jaguar? I got my guy Duncan, who is an Eagles fan. Also a channel member. He said, go Jags. We are all rooting for you. Blitz often because the Commodes have a weak O-line. I don't know where he keeps coming up with this. We have a weak O-line stuff. We have a very good offensive line despite the departure of Brandon Sheriff. And you're going to see that very soon on Sunday. But we can go next to the running back position. Travis Etienne is coming off a season-long injury. James Robinson also had a serious injury last year. Our running back one, our rookie that we took in the third round, Brian Robinson, unfortunately last Sunday was shot 3 times. Somehow the bullet didn't make any structural damage, hit a tendon, ligament, or anything important. He'll be back probably sometime in October. So we got J.D. McKissick, Antonio Gibson, and Jonathan Williams are going to be our 3 backs on Sunday. Who has the advantage at running back? Is it us because of the health and Antonio Gibson coming off 1,000-yard season, or are we booking off of the potential of how good Travis Etienne can be?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel like we know right now what the Washington running back room is. We don't really know what the Jaguars is. Yeah, I mean, we know James Robinson is a really good player. I mean, he's not extremely fast, and he doesn't even have like the flashy name or anything, but he's a guy where like he just finds holes and hits them. He finds creases. He stays up, and he finds ways to get first downs. And then Travis Etienne, we're really excited to have him. Really good receiving back. I think he'll be really good in Doug Peterson's system. And now he's coming off of, a season where he didn't get hit at all. So I don't know. I know I drafted Antonio Gibson in a fantasy league last year. You said he had 1,000 yards rushing. I didn't even realize that. I felt like he got me like no points last year, but
it's probably because he led all backs in the league in fumbles last year. So that's probably played a part in it.
Yeah. And probably limited touchdowns too, I imagine, right?
Yeah, the touchdown number wasn't too crazy. I think it was like 7 touchdowns last year, but he left a lot of yards to be desired, and his vision lacks because he's a wide receiver convert coming out of Memphis. We put him as a full-time back, so he's still adjusting, but you can't put the ball on the ground. You can't leave yards on the field. I'm very excited to see Travis Etienne play because I was a big fan of his at Clemson, and seeing him and Lawrence together, like y'all are a team I definitely have my eyes on because I really like those 2 guys. I want Lawrence to be an absolute mega star, and I think Etienne adds a completely different element to the offense. I think I might go with y'all at the running back, and I don't want to go with y'all for the running back spot, but Travis Etienne is a game changer, man. He is an absolute game changer, and I think his style of play may give us problems. And James Robinson has taken me to a fantasy championship before, so I can't really bet against the running back room. Let's go to the tight end room. We got Logan Thomas, who might play on Sunday, coming off a serious injury. Cole Turner, the rookie out of Nevada that we took in the 5th round. Who's your starting tight end? Is it Evan Ingram, Manhurts?
Yeah, I mean, we have Evan Ingram, we have Manhurts, we have Dan Arnold. The tight end room isn't great. I mean, literally 3 out of our 4 linebackers have expiring contracts next year. So, I mean, we don't have anything there. I mean, Evan Ingram, you know more about him than me. You know, he's a guy that's extremely athletic. I mean, he looks great, but, you know, he drops the ball in crucial moments and he doesn't block at all. So, I don't know. It just depends on, like, is he going to catch the ball? Is he not? I don't know. But if there's any system where a tight end wants to play for a team, it's probably with Doug Peterson, because he, you know, utilizes so much 21 personnel.
Hell yeah.
And really gives it to tight ends a lot.
Oh yeah, he definitely does. And speaking of the tight end, Evan Ingram, I do know the guy very well. The guy has all the talent in the world. I thought he was going to be a clone of Jordan Reed, potential wise, but his hands just never seemed to make it to the season most of the years in New York. It ended up being a big disappointment for them. But who knows? Like you said, Peterson utilizes tight end. What he did with Ertz and Goddard in Philadelphia brought some of Carson Wentz's best years, MVP years, and they won a Super Bowl doing that. I guess I'll give the tight end nod to us off of if Logan Thomas plays, because we have unproven commodities outside of him, and John Bates out of Boise State, Cole Turner out of Nevada, and Armani Rogers, who's a quarterback turned tight end convert, rookie, undrafted free agent. But it doesn't really feel like there's a big tight end superstar in this game. So I'd say this position is a push for the most part. So we can move on to the wide receivers. You know what I'm going to say at the wide receiver position. Sell me you guys' wide receiver room of Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, and company.
Yeah, I mean, the wide receiver room was so bad last year. They had to make moves, and they had to go out there and sign whoever the most expensive guy was. And that turned out to be Christian Kirk. And I like Christian Kirk, especially coming out of the slot. Him and Trevor Lawrence has built up a really good, a really good connection. You know, I'm not someone in fantasy to draft a lot of my guys, but I was targeting Christian Kirk in all my fantasy leagues because I knew that, you know, he was getting that volume and, you know, really crisp route runner. Over there for the Cardinals, he never really played with the GM the GM and head coach that drafted him. So they were always kind of looking to replace him in a way. So I like that. I mean, Zay Jones, he showed to be a big, fast kind of wide receiver. But I don't know, with this group, I mean, I think the Jaguars probably finish the year 7-10, 8-9, whatever it might be. And then that's going to be a perfect range to really target a true wide receiver one. And, this room is definitely that's going to be one that we have to monitor because we really don't know yet. Like with most other positions on a team, it's just a very new position for us.
Oh, yeah. And this is one of the few positions on the team I could say I'm very confident in, led by our leader, our captain, Terry McLaurin, who's managed to produce over 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns in 3 years, despite playing with like 100 quarterbacks and the ball not getting to him nearly as many times as he's targeted. We get Curtis Samuel back, who's the wild card of the offense. He's probably going to be what makes the offense tick because we can pretty much use him how the Niners use Debo. Curtis Samuel was in that role in Carolina before Debo was in San Francisco. So having him to go with our first round pick opposite Terry, Jahan Dotson out of Penn State, who's had an excellent offseason, sure hands guy, can run the double move, something that we've lacked here. Our wide receiver for De'Ami Brown had a terrible preseason, but we drafted him in the 3rd round last year to make an impact. We go to Cam Sims, who's our only possession receiver on the roster, 6'5" guy out of Alabama. I think I definitely take our wide receiver room here. And to round out the tight end room, we have a gritty guy like Dax Milne. Like he's like the Bill Belichick white skill player special. Like, he's the guy that sits in the middle of the zone out of the slot position, and he's our primary kick and punt returner. I'm definitely taking our receivers in this one. And to close out the offensive line, talk to me about you guys' offensive line.
Yeah, the offensive line, I mean, it's we kept Cam Robinson around the left tackle. We have a rookie starting at center, which we drafted in the 3rd round. You guys know Brandon Sheriff very well. We have Juwan Taylor coming back at right tackle, who struggled the last few years, but this year they actually had a competition between him and a draft pick from last year, and a lot of people are saying that he's really pushing, basically him to get a lot better. But this is another one where it's like, okay, we turned over about 40% of the unit. It wasn't great last year, but a lot of times quarterbacks can dictate how good an offensive line is. And, last year, Trevor Lawrence probably helped out the offensive line by this is escapability and pocket movement. But man, this is, I always, I'm always bailing out, but this is another wait and see moment because it wasn't a great unit last year, but maybe with better coaching and it just becomes a hopefully a better unit overall.
Yeah, it would probably be a push, but we're more established because we have more veterans in our group. Charles Leno on the left side. Our right tackle's the best lineman on the team. 2nd-year player Sam Cosmi out of Texas. And our center is a baller, Chase Rouillet. It's the right and left guard spots that we're going to wait and see because Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner, they're two faces Ron Rivera is familiar with from his time in Carolina. Norwell has fit in like a glove here. Trey Turner, we haven't seen him pretty much at all the entire offseason. He's been dealing with injuries the whole time. But I don't think there's an overwhelming lean towards either side on the offensive line. But let's move it over to the defense, though. Defensive line-wise, I think this is a lot closer than people would think because on paper, ours would look like the dominant unit. But you guys have a really good defensive front. Let's talk about your defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar with the Washington line, man. They invested a lot of 1st-round picks in the line. I know the Jaguars have Josh Allen. They just drafted Trayvon Walker. They have Caleb on Chase on back there. Just a lot of draft capital invested in those positions. So Trayvon Walker has looked like a beast. I mean, he should look like a beast. He was the number 1 overall pick, but he's doing good, and hopefully that frees up Josh Allen a bit because Josh Allen is his rookie year when he had Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue with him. He had double-digit sacks, he hasn't hit that feat since because he's been the only focus for every offensive line. So you have that going on, and also the Jaguars signed Arden Key, who was really under the radar free agent signing, but he's been out there in the preseason looking like a complete stud, getting sacks. So this is a position I actually feel really good about with the defensive line, and I know the Jaguars are benefiting from having Chase Young out this game, so.
Definitely.
I wish he was returning week 2, but I don't need him playing this game. But this is probably the best unit for the Jaguars is the defensive line.
Oh yeah, and it's what should be the heartbeat of our team too. And you guys got Foley, Fadakazi up front, and nose you got Howard, right? What's his first name?
Devon Hamilton.
Oh, Hamilton, not Howard. Devon Hamilton. You guys have the bodies, so it's going to be a lot closer than people would expect because you look at ours. We put all these 1st rounders on the front. Chase Young, who won't be playing, Montez Sweat, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and we have a 2nd-round pick coming in from Bama. Another Bama guy. We are Roll Tide North over here. We got Fedarian Mathis coming in as well. This should be a box that I should be able to easily check every week. It's just the production, for the most part, hasn't matched what their draft position was. I mean, between the 3 of them last year, Sweat, Allen, and Payne, we got about 19 and a half sacks, but we haven't seen Sweat or Young have a double-digit sack season yet. The closest one to it was Jonathan Allen, who's an interior guy. He had 9.5 sacks last year. He was borderline elite all-pro type player for us last season. I think this is a push, though. This is definitely a push. Calebon Chason, Arden Key, Josh Allen, and the rookie Trayvon Walker. Speaking of Trayvon Walker, did you want him or Hutchinson with the 1st pick?
I mean, I'm not this like Mr. Draft Guru expert guy, but I was leaning toward Hutchinson just because I felt like he was a safer pick, and the Jaguars have just blown way too many draft picks.
I agree.
But just looking at the offseason or the preseason Trayvon Walker's had, he's been a complete beast. And, he looks like, once this guy develops some pass rushing moves, if he can do that and if he can learn to bend the edge, he'll be a top 5 pass rusher. It's just all about, you probably see it all the time. This guy has potential up to here, but can they hit it? It's up to the player. So we'll see how his work ethic is over time.
Oh yeah, and then linebackers, y'all definitely got it on this one. But like we can go into it though. Foyer, Luakon, Devin Lloyd, who you said has missed some time during the preseason, Chad Muma, they definitely get the greater than sign over Jamin Davis, John Bostic, and Cole Holcomb and company. But let's talk about what you expect from the linebacker core.
Yeah, the linebacker core, it's gonna be fun, man. I mean, literally they turned over 100% of this unit from last year. Last year they had who was the guy? They had some 1 year stopgap guy. I don't know why I can't remember his name, but they also had like Miles Jack in there.
Was it Joe Sherbert?
Joe Sherbert was a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, what was that guy's name? Whatever. It was a 1 year guy. He's out of here now. And I think he actually had some domestic violence charge. So we don't need to talk about him.
Yikes.
but he was but now the Jaguars, Luakon, who they paid a lot of money for, they traded up to get Devin Lloyd from Utah. Really excited about that draft pick, and then Chad Muma. So really what they're trying to do is if you're running a 3-4 defense and your linebackers can't really cover well, then it's really hard to really run the kind of defense that they want to run. We have 3 linebackers who can rush the passer and can also go out there in coverage. They can, stop running backs, whether it be up, in the A gap or whether it be like a sweep on the edge. They're very versatile. So this is going to be exciting for the linebacker core. Brand new bodies in there. So it'll be the first time we actually see them, playing in a Jaguar uniform. It's just, how quickly can these guys mold and gel? I mean, they'll be calling the defense. So hopefully everyone gets lined up good and the position group thrives.
Yep. Asia channel member says, what's up? Good luck with Evan Ingram. Hope he has success over there. But this is a question that I definitely wanted to ask. You had one of the better thumbnails I've seen on YouTube in quite some time with the Hasta la Vista, with the gun, with the that was an awesome, absolute awesome thumbnail. What the hell happened with Laviska Shenault? Because I thought he was going to be a stud in Jacksonville. I loved watching him at Colorado. What the hell went wrong with Laviska Shenault, or did he just need new surroundings?
How do I say this? He sucked. I mean, the guy was slow. The guy ran the wrong routes. The guy didn't know how to play in the offense. Like, he didn't know what plays were what. He couldn't catch. He was just very limited. And the guy, if you gave him the ball, he could run people over. But it's like, okay, he's not good enough to draw up plays for. I would rather give it to a fast guy on a bubble screen than give it to Laviska Shenault. It just wasn't very good. And he was overdrafted. He came in a really bad draft where the Jaguars drafted like CJ Henderson, then Caleb on Chason, then Laviska Shenault. It was just Dave Caldwell's last draft. So he just wasn't very good. They traded him for like a 7th round pick. Good riddance. He just wasn't very good.
Oh, man. Raider 24 Nation. I'm sorry to hear that. He said his son is needing heart surgery and they were airlifted 190 miles away from our hometown. Hey, prayers and blessings to your family. Everybody send prayers to Raider 24 Nation. Doesn't matter who he's a fan of. That is a serious situation. Y'all definitely send well wishes and blessings to him and his family. And to close out the defensive side, which is definitely going to be a push because I don't think either of our secondaries are world beaters. Your secondary, you told me who y'all got in the cornerback room. What's your safety room looking like?
The safety room Andre Cisco, he was a 3rd round pick last year. He's looking good. Rayshon Jenkins, we also have. He's one of those guys where
out of Miami, right?
Yeah, he's out of Miami. I mean, he was a guy that you sign to be a starter, but he's not gonna take you to the next level. He's a guy that you sign to be there, then you replace him with another draft pick. So it's fine. It's probably a pretty average unit, to say the least. But, we're hoping that, you always want to look at your young guys. Andre Cisco is going into his 2nd year. So, he could either be really good or really bad. Hopefully he's not just flat out average. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah. And secondary wise over here, I like the safeties. If Cam Curl suddenly showed up at practice with a broken thumb and a sling last week, so we're not sure if he's going to play Sunday yet. Bobby McCain, solid safety, would look like he's really good because he had 4 picks last year, but he had 2 in the final game versus Jake Fromm. So don't take too much of that in account. Cornerback room is thin. Other than Fuller, St. Juice, and William Jackson III, it's just guys behind them. We signed Rashad Wild Goose and Fields Castro last week, 2 undrafted free agents just to round out the room. And the guys on the practice squad are also not world beaters. So if there's going to be an advantage, I guess it would be us, but I would call this position a push. Trey the Wave has a great question. Who has the better black jersey, Washington or Jacksonville?
I don't know. I mean, I know the Jaguars for too long, the black jerseys were the primaries. And look, I love the black uniforms. Don't get me wrong, but teal is our color, man. I mean, we're the only team in the NFL with teal. The Dolphins have aqua, so I don't want to hear that. We're the only team with teal. Luckily, we brought it back in 2021, but I don't know. I mean, really, you don't know how good the uniforms look until they're out on the field in them. And we haven't seen Washington out on the field with them yet. I will say that the W on the helmet, the front of it, looks a little bit. I could do without the W on the forehead of it, but other than that, I mean, I think it looks pretty clean.
Oh yeah, it looks good. And for anybody that think they look like the Steelers uniform, you were mistaken. That is a very unique looking jersey. The unfortunate part about our black jerseys are, one, fans haven't been able to touch them yet unless you bought one from wish.com or DHgate or somewhere overseas.
No way.
They have not touched the stores yet, and they're trying to get them out by the first week of November because we have the first Commanders blackout week when Kirk Cousins and the Vikings come to town. I'm not sure what we're wearing if the jerseys aren't in store yet, but 2, we don't get to see them in prime time. A jersey like that should be worn on like our Monday night game versus the Eagles when we go to Philadelphia and Carson's return. All our games other than that are at 1 p.m. So we're debuting our black uniforms twice at 1 p.m. kickoffs instead of showcasing them. We're wearing them versus the Vikings and versus the Falcons. But I both.
I don't want to hear you complain about primetime games, okay? The Jaguars haven't played a Monday Night Football game in 12 years. They haven't played a Sunday Night Football game in like 15 years. Yeah.
Holy shit, I did not realize that.
So you know when we wear our black uniforms now, we wear them in London because we at least get that every year. We wear them at 9:30 a.m. when we play in London. Yeah, we haven't had a Monday Night Football game or a Sunday Night Football game in over a decade.
Hell yeah, and that's crazy. Y'all do get the Wembley Stadium Invitational every year, man.
There you go, Derek. That's Damian Wilson's the linebacker I got stuck on.
Damian Wilson, good call. But that's crazy. I didn't even realize it was that long, but at least you know with Trevor Lawrence on your roster, that is soon going to change. And let's go to keys to victory. If you had to make 3 keys to victory for Jacksonville to win Sunday, what would they be?
Oh man, I think one, you had to win. You have to win a turnover battle. I know last year the Jaguars only had turnovers in like 4 games actually, and they were 3-1 in those games. They were just terrible in a turnover battle last year, and we can't. When you're playing at an enemy territory, you can't turn a ball over. I think another thing is we have to open up the run game. I don't want. I don't want to go out here and have Trevor Lawrence slinging the ball all over the place. Last year in week 1, he threw the ball 51 times.
That's insane for your debut. That is insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's not a good way to do it. And the last thing is that we gotta get pressure on Carson Wentz, man, because last year, we played Carson Wentz in Jacksonville. We got pressure on him early, and that forced him to be super errant all throughout the game, and he threw like 2 interceptions, I believe, that game. And it's all about, you got to start getting pressure on the quarterback. And if he's sitting back there all day, it's not going to work out for you. So I guess those are my 3 main keys to victory.
Oh yeah, for me it would be third down defense. Last year it felt like we were historically the worst third and long defense I've ever seen. It got to the point where I was more afraid to see us on the field on 3rd and 14 than to see a 3rd and 2. because I knew at least the D-line was going to give enough push that we could get a stop. It felt like any quarterback that wanted to, I felt like I could have walked on the field and threw for a first down on 3rd and 14 versus our defense last year. So that's my first key to victory. My second one is we got to establish the run game and make it easy for Carson. Like I need Gibson and McKissick I need them to eat. I need them to open up gaps and spread out that defense so we can get the pass game going, so we can go over top, because we know Carson likes to throw his prayer balls, his YOLO balls, you know what I'm saying? We got to get the run going to get the pass going. And third of all, we need to get a pass rush on Trevor Lawrence. We struggle with mobile quarterbacks, and for those of you who don't know, Trevor is as mobile as they come. I would call him a dual threat quarterback because Trevor can run. Like, Trevor is fast. He knows which running lanes to pick, and he gets after it. If we don't get after Trevor early, we're going to be in for a shootout, and they're going to be putting points up on us all day. Those would be my keys to victory. Now let's go to a game and score prediction for Sunday. Call it out, score, situation, and who wins the game.
I mean, like you said earlier, man. I mean, like I was saying earlier, I mean, the Commanders fans are going to pick the Commanders. Jags fans are going to pick the Jags. So I got to pick my Jags, man. I think there's a pretty evenly, a couple evenly matched teams. I know both teams are hoping that, no one's expecting either team to make the playoffs, but we're trying to make the case for us to make the playoffs. So, I'll say I'm going to go with the Jaguars. We'll say 2017 Jaguars.
20-17 Jaguars. I can respect that. Like, for the sake of me and for my heart and for my head and aspirations for our season, I picked us winning 11 games this year. I've never seen an 11-win season in my existence of 30 years on this earth. It happened last when I was born, 3 months old in 91, and they won the Super Bowl at 14-2. You can't start an 11-win season off with a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguar, the new and improved Jacksonville Jaguars. You need to give me a 2-possession W. I'm going 27-17 Washington. Carson Wentz, 2 touchdowns through the air and a quarterback sneak and 2 field goals, and we caused 2 turnovers, and we take a 10-point victory into week 2 in Detroit. Who do y'all got coming up in week 2?
We have the Indianapolis Colts at home, who Indianapolis has not won a game in Jacksonville since 2014. So we got a little bit of a streak going.
Hell yeah. For everybody who put 100% of that loss on Carson, they never beat the Jags in Jacksonville. It's been 8 years going, and we'll see if Matt Ryan continues the trend of Colts quarterbacks taking a loss in Duval County. And to close this out before I let you go, what are your season record predictions? And give me a Trevor Lawrence season stat line for this year.
I think the Jaguars, I'm going to say we go 8-9. I think Trevor Lawrence goes for 31 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and let's say 3,800 yards. I'll go with that.
Okay, that's a really good year too. In the first year in a new system, like, I hate when it comes to these young quarterbacks when they get to the league with coaches, usually lame duck coaches. Urban Meyer is a special situation, but you hate to see young guys have to play with all these different systems and all these different coaches through their career. But I see a good season for Trevor. I see 25 plus touchdowns, maybe 10 or 11 interceptions. I got my guy Carson breaking a curse here. We haven't had a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns since 1967, which was Sonny Jurgensen. I've even seen Blake Bortles throw for 38 touchdowns before your guy. But I need to see a quarterback throw 30. I'm going for 32 touchdowns and 11 interceptions for Carson, leading us to the playoffs this year. I'd like to thank you for coming on to the show today, my guy.
For sure, man. I wish tomorrow was Sunday, but for now we'll just count these work days by, and then Sunday, man, it's going down. That's for sure.
Hell yeah, it's definitely going down. We'll definitely touch base during and after the game. Let people know where they can find you on YouTube and via social media.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on YouTube, UCF Jaguar, then on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at UCF_Jaguar. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I'm pretty terrible at Instagram and TikTok, but I'm out there if you guys want to find me.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you, my guy. We'll see you on Sunday, man. Best of luck to y'all every week but this one.
All right, man. Good luck. Beat the rest of the AC South for us, okay?
Hey, we got you. We'll handle that for you, man.
All right,
Be
man.
easy, my guy. Yep, and that was UCF Jaguar. I'm gonna chat with y'all for a little bit. What's going on in Washington Commanders Nation, Jags Nation that stuck around? Let's talk about what you guys want to see on Sunday. Let me know what you guys are looking for, what you guys are paying attention to, and what are y'all keys to victory? Because you definitely heard mine already. What are they? Let's hear them. Pull them out, and let's talk about this game as a family. We are now, 4 sleeps away from Week 1. I'll be at FedEx Field on Sunday. Hey, my man Stefan out here plugging I seen what you've been saying. I got a parking spot for you when you visit FedEx also if needed. Hey, Stefan, pull up on me on social media, my guy. I didn't buy a parking pass even though I have season tickets because I'm cheap as shit. And I felt like I'd figure it out each week. But yeah, man. Oh, definitely. We need to Cooley. What up, Cooley? That's my guy right there, gang. We're going to be sharing a lot of car rides to that stadium this year. What's going on, my dude? And he's got a YouTube channel. He's starting on the way as well. Fast start. We never get off to a fast start. Him and Sean are on the same page. It always feels like what Louis T said when he came on the channel last week. We start every game behind. It's always some penalties, some missed opportunities, and you look up at the scoreboard and we're down 10-0. Last year, week 1, I don't drink. I was liquored up. It was 98 degrees, and I sat down excited, adrenaline pumping. Next thing I know, Justin Herbert was just walking the fucking ball routinely down the field on us. My. I hate to see it. That's how we always start seasons. It's how we always start games, and I need that shit to change because I'm sorry. Like, they are a worthy and comparable opponent. Yes, I don't think the game is going to be a crazy blowout, but can we blow them out? We should be able to if we have aspirations to be a playoff team. And like, I respect Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be a superstar in this league, but we can't lose our inaugural game as the Commanders to the Jaguars. Like, I'm sorry. We can't do it. I refuse to believe we're going to lose our first game under the new moniker, inaugural season, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can't do it. We got 143 in the chat right now. Make sure y'all smash that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure y'all sub because we're about 179 subscribers away from reaching 5,000 as a community. Let's keep pushing. Am I going to the away games this year? The only away game that I know for a fact that I'm going to is the Chicago game. That's going to be my birthday present to myself. It's the day before my 31st birthday. I'll be making a trip with a group of friends to see us play Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. I'm pretty excited for that one. Hail to the Commanders. Yes, sir. No boneheaded penalties. Yes. We don't need that. We don't need to come out and make a big play and have it called back. Like, who else has that PTSD here as a Commanders fan where every time we do something positive, you have to look at the field or check the TV to see if there's any yellow on the field? Because I do that shit every time. I'm legit scarred for life. Secondary, hope they step up for real. Hell yeah, we definitely need somebody. Got to make a play, goddammit. Between Bobby McCain and Kendall Fuller, it felt like we dropped 100 interceptions last year. We are losing to the Jaguar. No, the fuck we are not. I predict all hell breaking loose by week 5. In what sense? Like, you think we're going to be bad? Hell no. We're going to be 3-2 after 5 games. Our offense has the tools to go off. I think the offense leads this game. Leads this season. They're going to lead this. Nah, Jonathan Wilder, I'm not even putting that up on the screen. Let's get this dub and can't wait for the Juwan Taylor Memorial. Yeah, that's going to be an awesome game. Get off the field on 3rd down. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm not afraid of the Jags and the Lions, my guy. I can't roll with that. All hell is going to be breaking loose because we're going to be sitting at 3-2 after 5 games. First game is the Commanders, and my ass got to work this weekend. Damn, we still win a close one. Hey, I don't care how we win. Although I would prefer to see us beat the Jags by 10 points plus if we have any aspirations, but it's week 1, and week 1 is the wackiest week in the NFL. Bad teams show up. Good teams take the week off sometime, and it takes some time to get them going. The Chiefs were some shit to like late October last year, and then they started to do Chiefs things again. Top 3 keys to winning. Number 1, all eyes on Jack Del Rio. Yes. 2, how well Carson Wentz and Scott Turner are in tune, and what needs to be ran. Hell yeah, man. I need them on the same page. Could Milo Eifler start at linebacker? Shit, I hope not. They ain't even have Milo Eifler's picture in the graphic for the Dallas game last year, but shit, I think I'm leaning towards John Bostic as the third backer on the field, and I hate to say it because I don't want to see John Bostic play. PTSD from the refs, but it has gotten a lot better. Refs hate us. Media hates us. Everybody hates us. We are owned by Daniel Snyder. It's very easy to hate this franchise, but I love this stupid-ass team, and I'm always going to love this stupid-ass team. But it's time that we earn some respect on our goddamn name. 3 is how well the defense is in check. Hell yeah. My 30th birthday, October 4th. Hey, your birthday's October 14th, twin? Twin? We on the same shit. Libra season. I was thinking about trying to go. I've never been to an away game. Definitely hit me up because I've never been to one as well. We share the same birthday. I turned 31. I'm October 14th, 91. That's what's up. Shout out to you, twin. You trust this roster in depth? I trust the roster. The depth in certain spots, I'm not a fan of it, but this is one of the best put together rosters we've had in Snyder's tenure of ownership here. And we have a legitimate starting quarterback. So yes, I trust this roster versus the schedule that we play this year. Quarterback mobility and Peterson is our only thorns. JDR hasn't proven to stop them. I know. Trevor scares the shit out of me. But I look at it like this. We opened the season last year with Herbert. Same situation. Second-year quarterback, except Herbert was coming off a baller offensive rookie of the year season. And while he got off, we had that game in the bag until Antonio Gibson gave them the ball at the 10-yard line last year. Winning the turnover battle means everything, especially versus a young quarterback. Special teams needs to be good. For one, Joey Sly, get all of that missing shit out your system and leave that shit in August. I don't want to see that shit on Sunday. I don't want to see no bunnies, extra points, or layup field goals missed. And Dax Milne, you got to add something to the return game, my boy. Got to keep 41, 91, and 44 off our quarterback. Big facts. Josh Allen, my God, yo, they got it. They got some boys over there, man. They got a mean pass rush. This is a great early test for our offensive line because that D-line group they got over there can be special if they put it all together. Should we draft Sean Taylor's brother when he enters the NFL? If he keeps building on what he's done at Rice right now, Gabriel Davis, it would be a beautiful story, but I wouldn't count on it, guys. I wouldn't count on it. It would be a beautiful story. As you've seen the report in the interview he did the other day, he said his dream that could come true would be wearing number 21 for the Commanders. I would absolutely cry crocodile tears on stream like I'm watching The Notebook if that happened, because that would be one of the most beautiful full circle stories in the history of this franchise. Gets pressure. Hell yeah. We get pressure. It's over. If they pass on 3rd and 3, I'm going to pull out my hair and I'm bald headed. Shit, we better pass on 3rd. No, my thing is we can't run the ball on 2nd and long on every possession. Like, I'm not as low on Scott Turner as most people, but that motherfucker runs shotgun zone run on every second down of every game in my existence since he's been here. Last time we played the Jags, we destroyed them 41-10. I remember that. I believe it was week 2 of 2015. And it was 2014. RG3 broke his ankle in the first quarter. I remember Deshaun had the drop on the 60-yarder in the first quarter, and Kirk came in, and we absolutely dusted them. We had Jason Hatcher having a sack party on their quarterback. Good time. Let's hope we replicate that shit. Don't forget the Saints whooped the Packers week 1. It happens. But also the Saints were sitting at 6-2 with Jameis until he tore his ACL last year. Week 1 is the wackiest week in the NFL. So don't take what you see in week 1 as gospel because it's fool's gold season. Trevor Lawrence will get, I'm not wishing no injuries on my guy, man. We don't have a Jonathan Taylor, but we have a solid running back group with a versatile skill set, and we can run on these guys. We don't have a Jonathan Taylor, though. That you're not lying. Last time we played the Jags was with Josh Johnson. Yeah, okay. The game before that was the one we beat their ass. Josh Johnson did play. Good correction, Jay. that season hurt. We had to watch Josh Johnson and Mark Sanchez play football in this uniform. Definitely one of those painful years. This is a game we could win by a last-second field goal or win by 30. Exactly. It can go either way. It can go either. The only outcome I don't see is us getting blown out by Jacksonville. I don't see it any way in hell that they come to FedEx and dust us on Sunday. I don't see it as possible. Wherever we went after the linebacker, Blake Martinez, I feel like it makes so much sense that's why it hasn't happened. I don't know. They have some type of confidence. I hope it's not a situation where they're not trying to step on toes or hurt the feelings of Cole Holcomb or Jamin Davis, because if so, that's some petty, weak-ass loser mindset that we need to get out of. Blake Martinez is a productive linebacker in the league. He's had some injury history, but he definitely fits what we do here. I love this dumb team. We have a lot of work to do. We do have a lot of work to do, and that work starts on Sunday when we get this dub. We about to eat a W, like Jameis said. We about to eat a W versus Jacksonville on Sunday. I look like a fucking idiot. I know. You don't have to tell me. You think Gibson will clean up those fumbles and carry the load till Robinson back? He ain't got no goddamn choice but to at this point. He better, because if we got to watch Jonathan Williams start over him, that says a lot about how expendable Antonio Gibson is at this point of his career. My man, Unc Rashid, play smart and do what we do best and blitz Lance. I guess he meant Lawrence on the ends, feeding him to Allen and Payne. Yes, sir. You know you're going to be the only Commander fan out there. No, sir. It's going to be a good turnout, man. I've seen what they've done season ticket sales wise and what week one looks like availability wise. I think it's going to be a pretty raucous crowd. Shit, at least the lower bowl going to be full. I think Gibson will have a good. Yeah, this is a great 2 starter games to earn your way back into the good graces of the fan base and the coaching staff. Our receiving core, yes, sir. I need to see him. I need to see him do work. When he comes back, I think they'll ease him back into it. So I don't say when he immediately comes back, but give him a good 3 weeks to a month. He's taking over the running back one spot, and I'm very confident when I say that. Yep, he's the only one that could ever bring out that 21. Many have tried, but Gabe Taylor should be the only person ever allowed to touch that 21. Hey, I cried during the Notebook. Don't judge me, bruh. That scene where they was vibing around the piano and the dinner table, and then she forgot about him again. That shit broke my damn heart. And then they died together at the end. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the Notebook, but that's a tear-jerking ass movie. I'm a crier. I don't care. Let's keep it 100. If we play the lame-ass defense where our corner's sitting 10 yards off, Trevor going to look like a Pro Bowler. Yeah, they better not do that shit. Jack better have been showing us what we did last year just because it was the preseason. Shout out to my boy Dejon Bell. I'm in section 110 in Chicago. You near? I ain't get my ticket yet, but I'll try to get something near so I can be near a game. Appreciate you for the $199 super and for always showing the channel some love. I'm jealous of the Jags linebacker core. Must be nice. Shit, so the fuck am I. Devin White, Chad Muma, Foye Oluokun. Foye Oluokun had 192 tackles last year, bro. 192 tackles. Baller. I wanted him in the offseason. We didn't feel like spending on a linebacker. Yes, I am so excited to see the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Kerrigan as the assistant D-line coach. You know what this assistant D-line coach reads to me as D-line coach in training. You have no experience, so we can't give you that job immediately. So we're going to sit you behind Jeff Zanina for a year, and you're going to take over for him, and maybe he could be your intern next year because Ryan Kerrigan, if he wants that job, that's his next year. That's how I read it. I don't know if anybody else read it that way, but that's his fucking job. There's no way he's going to be assistant for 2 years. I have a funny feeling that our 2021 free agent signings will show out this season. Curtis Samuel and Will Jackson. Shit, we paying them the way we paying them, they better. Will Jackson getting $14 million a year. That's top corner money. Curtis Samuel's getting around $13 million a year. I need to see production. Butt fumble, my God, the funniest play in NFL history. We actually had to watch him start games for it. We had to watch him start in a Monday night versus Philly with playoff implications. Who's best suited to guard Marvin Jones? Benjamin St. Juste, because he's going to be in the slot and they're going to be lined up a lot. I think he has enough shiftiness to hang with him, but he didn't show me much in the preseason. But preseason is preseason. I don't care about none of that shit right now. Which DB is checking Terry and Jahan? Talk that talk, Anthony. Who checking them? Shaquille Griffin? Darius Williams? I like Tyson Campbell, though. Tyson Campbell, nice. He's the only one in that cornerback room that puts any fear into my heart. I think Carson has a 300-yard, 3-touchdown day on Sunday. Who wins this Thursday? And the Super Bowl preview possibility, I'm going Buffalo. Buffalo's going to spoil banner night in LA, and Josh Allen's going to throw for 380 and 4 touchdowns on Sunday. But we shall see. It's week 1, and you never know. The Rams might come in off that Super Bowl high and blow them out the fucking waters. You never know. I'm looking for sacks. I know. Not just pressure. I'm tired of banking on Pro Football Focus. Ooh, his pressure rate was this. I mean, he may not have got the... Man, fuck that. We need to get some sacks. Montez Sweat. With Chase Young being out 4, 6, possibly 8 weeks, I need you to give me double-digit sacks this year. You were on pace last year in the 10 games that you played. Why can't we get 12 and a half sacks out of Montez Sweat? You're fucking unblockable in practice in an obviously controlled environment. You're one of the most athletic edges in the league. Add to your pass rush arsenal, and you'll be fucking unstoppable. I want somebody to give me double-digit sacks, and it shouldn't be Jonathan Allen, even though I think if I had to bet money, it would be Jonathan Allen. I hope Carson and the offense turn up. I think they're going to, man. We got no choice. Han Solo Dotson gonna go off. Hey, I want some guesses in the chat. Who scores the first ever Commanders touchdown? I want everybody to call it. Who do y'all think scores the first ever touchdown of the Commanders era? I want to hear that new. I know. I want to hear that shit 1,000 times. I don't care what you think of the fight song. We better be hearing that motherfucking band get striked up on Sunday. We need to play sharp. It's time for them to show up. What up, Nello? JB said 34-20. That would be a way to kick off the season. It's crazy. Like, I don't care how we win, bruh. I need us to end that week with a W for real. If we don't have a positive record, I'm switching to the WNBA. Oh, man, you know times is hard when you say I'm going to switch to the WNBA. My man, Big Simple 422. What up, my guy? We're lit. Yes, sir. It's week 1. If y'all aren't subbed up to my guy, make sure you sub him up as well. One of the hype men of this Washington creator community. When I say you're the only fan out there, I meant for your birthday, bro. Oh, okay. In Chicago. In Chicago. Shit, I might be. I don't know. I'll be out there with the hog farmers and the rally captain in them. They go to every game. You know what I'm saying? One day when my budget's like that, I'll be doing that too, because I would love to vlog from every stadium in the league. It's on my bucket list to go to every NFL stadium at some point in my life. And now that I'm creating content, I would love to get a vlog and an in-stadium experience from every stadium that exists in the NFL. Is Percy Butler switching from that number 35? Shit, he need to. That joint ugly as shit. That shit ugly, bruh. You look like a practice squad running back rocking 35. For a player with his skill set, that shit is ugly. He moved too fast to be wearing from 35. If you don't believe the power in the number, watch J.D. McKissick and how much shiftier, how much lateral agility, and how spicier he looks in number 23 than he looked in number 41. That number is not it. Our defense is a joke. Let's see it in 2022 first. Until I see it in an actual game, you know what I'm saying? Until I see it in an actual game, I can't go there. Like, I'm not letting the preseason deter me. I got to see it on Sunday. Who's the starting tight end? It's going to be Cole Turner if Logan Thomas isn't good to go, because he was the number 1 tight end for the majority of camp until he had his hamstring issue after Percy Butler tackled him, and he looked the part. He had a good rapport with Carson. He caught everything thrown at him. He high-pointed the football well. I'm excited to see Cole Turner on Sunday, and he said he will definitely be playing. Shit, get Warren Sapp in the mix to bring all these great elite talent guys in here. That's a gold jacket guy. All this tutelage they're getting, if you could get tutelage from these great players and still not improve, you're just not cut out for this shit. Definitely. Jack got to dial up some exotic blitzes at some point of our lives, y'all. I want weeks 1. I need it, man. I need it. We're here. We should have signed a veteran linebacker 100%, and not the one that we did sign, which is John Bostic, but fuck it. RK is going to go down from D-line coach to DC coach. Hey, I don't know. He got a big step he need to jump to get the defensive coordinator. I think Chris Harris might be coaching the defense before we get to the end of the season, because the defense gravitates to that guy, and he is the full heartbeat and energy of the defensive unit. Lawrence will be under pressure most of the game. Allen is going to terrorize Sheriff. He already knows his movements. Allen is going to take his lunch money all day. I need JD to get 7 to 10 touches. I need JD to get 12 to 14 touches on Sunday because every time our offense kind of came and went with JD last year. Duval, okay, Jacksonville in the building. What up, Kiko? We're gonna lose. It's gonna be the same old Redskins again. I don't know who the Redskins are because we are not them niggas no more. We are the Commanders now, so I don't know what you're talking about. I want weeks 1 and 2 to be used to sharpen our skills for our spoiling of Eagles and Cowboys. I want the Eagles so bad week 3. I know we got a couple weeks until we get there, but motherfuckers are talking about Super Bowl for the Eagles with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. And that shit is hilarious to me. They put an amazing roster around that guy, almost a quarterback-proof roster. But Jalen Hurts will ultimately be what holds them back from these Super Bowl dreams that media and fans have put there. Dotson, 8 to 10 catches. That would be a hell of a fucking debut. It'd be like Terry's rookie debut in Philly a few years back. I need to know that him and Chase are capable of a 14 to 16 sack season. I need to know that shit. Shaka Tony about to take over on some Parsons type shit. Low-key Jim. Them Penn State boys, I don't know what it is in the water over there, but man, Shaka Tony has the best bend on the team. If Chase Young and Montez Sweat could bend the edge like Shaka Tony, we would have a TJ Watt situation here, a 20 sack guy, because he may not be as skilled and athletically gifted as them. He bends the edge better than every player on that entire roster. JD scoring the first touchdown, Gibson, McKissick, Curtis Samuel. I'm going to call a wild card. The first touchdown of the season is going to somebody that we were shitting on all preseason. De'Ami Brown catches a deep ball for the first touchdown of the season. I'm being obscure with it. I'm being outside the box a little bit, but I'm going with De'Ami Brown for the inaugural Commanders touchdown. Simp said Curtis Samuel, John Bates. Travis Etienne scores the first touchdown on Sunday. Okay. So we know how that situation is. We lose the toss. We defer to the second half. They go right down the field and Etienne scores on a screen pass or a run. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. Give me your JD with a zone run out of shotgun. And you know if it's a zone run out of shotgun, you know it's second and long or second and goal because that is 100% going to be the play call on a second down for Scott Turner's Washington. Our defensive talent is being held back from our DC. I think they're also holding themselves back because there is a matter of execution that matters as well. It's not just coaching. These guys got to go out there and make shit happen. JD, Dotson. Oh, that'd be excited to see Dotson go catch like a dig route and take it 60 yards first play or first drive of the game. That shit would be exciting. Terry scores that same back shoulder fade in the end zone. Woo! Or that post from this first ever game. That shit would be exciting, man. We need to come up with our own fight song. Can't trust these suits to get anything right. Facts. And we need to make it sound modern, like it's from 2022 and not from 1970s or like the Village People or some shit. Everyone, let them sleep. Let them keep sleeping. I saw 8 out of 10 NFL Network pundits pick the Jags to win this game. They gonna see. It's all good. They gonna see. Carson running in for the first touchdown and salute. Do y'all see that promo for the season where Carson like threw the gun up like the red rifle? That shit was hilarious. Carson got some of the funniest looking swag ever, yo. Curtis might show out. It would be lovely to see Curtis get 12 touches, 120 total yards and a touchdown or two. Gerald, my guy, what's up? We cannot afford to lose to the Jags. Strike up, fire up the band right now. Rio needs to lend out his theme song whenever we score a TD. Hey, I don't own the rights to this. This is royalty-free music. I will gladly take this to Jason Wright, Julie Donaldson, the content team, whoever the hell I need to, and tell them to play this shit when we score a touchdown because this shit is way better than our old and new fight song. Taylor Heineck. Oh, my God. Dylan, we're not doing this shit today. We need FedEx rocking like the old days, man. We definitely need to bring that energy. I'm going to be in there acting a whole damn fool. Mayhew don't like you dissing number 35. Hell yeah, because 35 looked fine back when he played. That shit ugly now. That shit ugly as hell. Like off the top of your head, think of a great player right now that wears number 35. It's going to take you a little bit to think about him because that's an ugly-ass number. Carson running in from 8 yards on a zone read. They have been running zone read in practice. Sapp going to Jackson State. Hey, man, first of all, shout out to Dion, what he's doing at Jackson State and what he's doing for the HBCU college community. Shit is beautiful to see. Watching his son out there sling it for them. Them boys, that shit is inspiring. I love it, man. You can't lose your first game with a brand new name. Facts. Rein in the new with some fire. What if the first score of the season is a defensive touchdown? That would be promising. That would give me a lot, like a Jamin Davis pick 6. He will be much better than Cole Holcomb. Shit, he better be. He was the 19th pick of the draft. I'd hope so. Wentz QB sneak from the 1, JB. Prom said Sapp going to be hired last week. I love to see it, man. We're going to regret not drafting a safety. We drafted a safety this year. His name is Percy Butler, but we didn't draft a linebacker. Philly is overrated, and I think they take a step back. That Dallas line is shaky. I think we're going to win a division. The Giants have no shot. I think Jennifer King is a future NFL coach. That would be fucking amazing to see a black woman head coach in these times. That shit would be crazy to see. My guy Charles, what up, family? Can't wait to see you at week 1, man. We turning up at FedEx on Sunday, man. We turning that building out. Money talks. They would have to throw up Sapp the bag. Oh, hell yeah. And Prom got the bag. They'll make it happen. Josh Allen going to terrorize Carson Wentz. We're going to see. Josh Allen's a monster. He has something our edge rushers don't have, which is a double-digit sack season. So I ain't mad at you. Nah, Howell's not starting this year, my guy. Howell won't start a game unless we're getting absolutely destroyed, destroying someone, or something went catastrophically wrong, and that's not happening. I want him to hit his mother. She step out there. No prisoner. Jonathan Allen's that type of dude, man. I can see it for sure. I can see it for sure. We're not talking about Taylor Heineke touchdowns in week 1. If I have to watch Heineke on the field week 1, I'm leaving the fucking game, my guy. I'm leaving the goddamn game. My man Jern, my guy. What up, gang? Wentz throwing 2 TDs and 1 pick to keep the haters hating. We winning by 2 TDs, though. Hell to the Commanders. Hell to them always. Hell to them always. If Diami active on Sunday, I saw some speculation. He will be the number 4 wide receiver, despite what he looked like. Howell is not starting one fucking game this year. Not one. Unless we have a playoff spot clinched or things go catastrophically bad this year. Gibson, it would be good for Gibson's morale for him to get on the board early. I don't care who gets the first TD. Here's the hoping we score more than 3. Facts, because last year we lived at like 19 points, and that's not going to ever get it done. Robbie Roden, Tattoos and Arts. What's popping, man? How you feeling, my guy? Cole motherfucking Turner about to go off. I want to see it because that boy looks the part to me, man. I want to see that boy out there. Definitely a must win. Everybody hates on me for repping that 2005 season. Rep that shit because it's the last time we won a playoff game. 17 years ago. I was all of 13 years old. I'll rep that shit. Sean Taylor and Clinton Portis and Santana in their primes on one field. Great times, man. If Brown goes off, because what shit has he done in the preseason? Hey, if anybody on our team goes off, that's something to be happy about. Fuck who goes off. I don't care. Like, bro, whoever's on that field needs to do something. Montez opening with 3 sacks would be crazy. Jamin Davis pick 6. I need to see Jamin Davis put his hands on the ball. I seen him do it at Kentucky. Fake punt for a TD. Tressway with the touchdown throw. That would be swaggy. Fat American said, everybody be hating on me for repping the 2000s. Yeah, that's my season. That defense was the shit. Greg Williams, bounties and all. I miss what he brought to this defense. Appreciate you for the $4.99 super. Sean Taylor clinching the division with that dive, swan dive into the end zone, and then doing the same thing in the wild card round versus the Bucks. Amazing season. If only Carlos Rogers caught that pick in Seattle the next week. 35 did look good on the Nigerian Nightmare Christian Okoye back in the day. Yeah, it did. It did. One of the very few. Just remember this pick. Okay, Robert. 24-14. Oh, my God. All hell would break loose off the early if we lost 24-14 to the Jags in week 1. We need to keep our foot on their necks, keep throwing even if we up big. Bill Belichick style. 2011 season. Just kill our 2007 season. Just go crazy. Keep scoring. Fuck sportsmanship. Gamesmanship. Put your foot on their necks. Talk that shit. I believe in that. I don't believe in holding back on your opponent. You don't get a 14-point lead and start running the ball and that type of shit. They had a great rapport during the offseason, so I would love to see them go off early. Dax is like the only primary full-time slot guy on the roster. So I don't care who goes off. We're making a lot of predictions, but bring us home a victory on Sunday. We are now about 4 or 5 sleeps away from the NFL season. Thank you to everybody who tuned into the stream tonight. 166 left in the chat. Smash that like. Sub if you're not subscribed. We are almost there to 5,000 subscribers, and then it's to the moon from there. I got merch coming at y'all soon. We got tomorrow night, we got the NFC East Roundtable panel, family reunion style. Me, Mark Holmes, Philly 500, and Cop Pizzle. I'll probably go to Mark's house and we'll probably shoot this together from his backyard studio. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I'll be vlogging from the stadium on Sunday, showing y'all all the sights and sounds from the tailgate, from the red zone lot, from inside the stadium, from the suite club level, all that shit. I'm going to have so much content from y'all, an immediate either post-game live stream or recap after the game, all that good stuff. One more super chat before we go. He said, I'm just saying, if Jack ain't cutting it, just saying. Got that dude Greg on speed dial, fam. Hit up Marcus Washington, too. Marcus Washington was a dog, bro. Appreciate you for the super. That was my guy. Appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. This thing does not go without y'all. So keep showing love to your boy. I'm going to keep the content coming. Until next time, hell to the Commanders. See y'all on Sunday, baby. Deuces.